How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? This is my Sunday blog, and this time I got something important to talk about. You know, a lot of people might say when I talk about the Democrats and Republicans and the elections, it's not that important. And listen, he talks about things that he thinks are important, like about the war, talk about death and destruction of human life, and a lot of people say, well, so what, so what? No, but because people are so accustomed to human life being lost in weightless, hopeless ways, and so much death and destruction in our own country, as if there's a war zone here in America. Let's be honest about it. Right now in Philadelphia, there's 300 people killed this year so far. And almost every single day, 2, 3, 4 more people are killed. If it was called Iraq, there would be a whole hullabaloo all over the world about what we can do about it. Happens in Philadelphia, you expect it. In New York, it's natural. And thousands of people are killed every year in our own country, and nobody thinks it's even news because we're used to it and we expect it. In other words, when a great country, which is the most fantastically civilized country in the world, has death and destruction every day, human life becomes nothing. In a war zone, if a person dies, it becomes the worst tragedy in the world. One tragedy is no better or worse than another, and it's about time we realize what disgusting things we're living in right now in this country. Now became the biggest story became O.J. Simpson. Now, he is definitely a murderer. I don't care if black people excuse him and like to claim he wasn't a murderer. Black people are so involved in vengeance. That's why they talked about black and black crime, because they were legitimately persecuted before. So there's subconsciously, on some level, there's a contempt and a hate for white people against among a certain percentage of blacks. So that's why in the black churches they keep threatening black people about black and black crime. To me, that's as disgusting as saying everything is excusable if it's white on white crime. Is just as sickening as saying black on black crime. What if they told you white on white crime is disgusting and they have thought the word black? Would you say it's a sickening thing to hear? Why is black on black crime a beautiful thing to hear? As if to say if you kill a white person, well, it's not nice, but it's not the worst thing in the world. At least just don't kill too many of them, one at a time maybe, every hour and a half, not too often. This is a disgusting thing to say. But let's be honest about it. We are looking for a headline every single day in every paper. So all of a sudden, if there's a slow news day, because they like to manufacture floods and disasters every day, every time there's a drop of water falls on Third Street, they say, oops, a flood is coming, and everybody is jamming the supermarkets to collect as much toilet paper as possible to last for at least a month and a half. And then they say another raindrop calls, oh, your snowstorm is coming, everybody back to toilet paper. The supermarkets are making a fortune from toilet paper from this fraudulent story about a new disaster every day. That never happens. Then you have Jesse Jackson manufacturing a disaster every 20 minutes. And then you have Al Sharpton, because he's involved with Jesse Jackson, competing on who could get a bigger headline than who about who could find a faster disaster. This one is marching and this one is coming from a march. So he finds a bigger march and he finds a bigger, and it's each time it's a fraudulent disaster about nothing but an excuse to march, because the picture's not in the paper for an hour, they got no place to go. God forbid they should have to work for a living. That's the only thing they can do. Now O.J. Simpson is the only person I'm defending now in the middle of all this. Here is a man who's definitely a murderer, but they should have caught him on the murder, but they couldn't, and they couldn't convict him. So now there's a frustration among all the people in America who know he's guilty and know he's a murderer to get even with him somehow. So every time he goes for a walk, they start to see, is he walking crooked? Maybe we can make a case out of it. Is he talking too loud? This might be a case. Here they manufacture a case. I'm not saying he's guiltless in this case, but at worst it's some kind of a misdemeanor. Instead, they made a huge headline like he's the biggest murderer in the world, and they caught him. The press needed a headline, and he was an easy target. The truth of the matter is that this was absolutely nothing. What he did was wrong, but it's wrong. It's a question, is it wrong if somebody else walked into a place as a guy's house, and all of a sudden he stole a few of his own possessions? What's your honest opinion? Would you get headlines all over the world? Would he picture you as the biggest criminal on earth? What he did before has nothing to do with the question of what he did now. What he did now adds up to nothing but a meaningless story. And it belongs in the back of a page. And find a new story and a real story if you want to talk about something. Don't make an issue out of nothing because a guy came in, had a gun, nobody shot anybody, but they have to create 32 counts for walking in with a gun, for walking fast with a gun, for walking close to the wall, against the wall, back from the wall, into the house, back from the street, into the corner, back away, into it. It's all nothing. It's all a lot of counts about nothing. It's a meaningless story. Give it up. Find the real story and stop talking about nothing just because it's O.J. Simpson. I get nauseous when he's mentioned because I know he's a murderer. But I'm going to keep looking till I find something he really did. Not because I'm a sick maniac with a newspaper who's looking for a headline.
Can I explain to you? Everything is going wrong.